What's going on, you guys? Welcome to day 9 of the 12 days of Live Fitmas. Today I'm super excited to bring this video to you because I've been getting requests for so long to make more like beginner friendly workouts and content. So here we are. Today I'm bringing to you guys a beginner friendly gym workout. I'm going to be taking you guys through a whole entire gym workout. I'm going to be right there with you. I'm going to be mic'd up, so I'm going to be sharing with you guys form, tips, cues, so you know exactly how to do these exercises, to do them correctly, to get the most out of your workout. And I specifically designed this workout to be very efficient and effective at the same time. So we're only sticking with 5 different exercises, super simple, just 3 sets of 10, very straightforward, because I want this to be, like I said, very friendly and doable for someone who's just getting into the gym, but there's also a lot of room for people to make it a little bit more challenging if you're a little bit more experienced, if you will, in the gym. So we're really gonna be hitting everything today: legs, glutes, back, chest, shoulders, everything and anything. Feel free to completely just repeat this workout like 2 to 3 times a week if you want. That's a great place to start. You can just do that, and I promise you will definitely see really good results because of just the way that this workout is designed. And when it comes to getting beginners in the gym, I always recommend to stick more so with kind of machine work for the most part, just because there's already a very safe guided plane of motion and range of motion and movement pattern, or very simple straightforward movement patterns with free weights that's not involving a lot of different variations or pulses or needing to have balance and strength at the same time. So all these movements are going to be very straightforward, and they're going to allow you to really focus on one skill at a time. Quickly, before we go, I need a little bit of whoa, oh, I thought that almost was gonna fall from the fridge. I need a little something, OxyShred Energy. This is in the Guava Paradise flavor. It's so freaking good. Bahama Breeze is also so good. But basically, this is amazing just to help improve your performance, mood, energy, focus in the gym. This helps so much with improving my mind to muscle connection. There's also caffeine in this version, so it obviously helps to give me a little boost of energy as well. But they also make it in a powdered form that is non-caffeinated. Some is caffeinated, and then they also have like an extra boosted caffeinated one as well. So you can use code LIVEFIT10 to save on all EHPLABS products, but especially OxyShred. It's just fun to be full. Like, I just have fun when I drink it, you know? Okay, so first we're gonna start off with our warm-up, and I'm personally a foam rolling gal just because it feels good, especially on my spine. It just feels really good. And then I'm gonna flip over, and kind of like a lion stretch is how I want to describe it. It just really opens up my shoulders and also helps with some spinal mobility, and it just feels really good. And for this one, don't be afraid to really push your chest into the ground, because it just really helps to open up your shoulders even more and deepen the stretch. Then for a little bit more shoulder mobility to open up our shoulders, I'm going to take a little pull here. You could also use a resistance band if you have that as well. And we're just going to do some big, I just kind of call these up and overs just to really move the shoulder joint, get everything loose, and then I kind of will favor one side and do a little around the world, like so. This feels so good. Personally, my shoulders are just always super tight, so it just feels divine. And then, like I said, since this is a full body workout, we're gonna continue these stretches, so we're also opening up our legs and our hip joints as well, because that's also really crucial. So this is called the world's greatest stretch. I love this one so much. I've really recently started doing this like 3 months ago, and I've been obsessed with this, and I do it like no matter what I'm training for the day because it feels so good. But this is really, basically a full body stretch. So for this one, you're gonna come down into a plank to start with, which I'm just realizing this is actually the first time after my wrist surgery I'm doing an actual real plank. But then you're gonna bring one of your feet, whatever you wanna start with. We're gonna start with the right leg, bring it up to that right hand, so we're kind of in a deep runner's lunge here. You're gonna bring that same elbow down to the ground, really gonna increase that hip stretch and that groin stretch. And then you're gonna twist up to get some rotation, that thoracic spine or upper back. Bring that hand up to the sky, look at that hand as well. Another thing to increase the stretch is to also roll this front leg onto that heel to really deepen that side stretch in your glute as well. And then you're going to shift back onto that heel, straighten this leg, this front leg, to get a stretch in that hamstring. So that all that sequence is one side of that stretch. And then you would rotate, other side, same elbow down to the ground, twist up to the sky, roll onto that heel if you would like, and then come back onto that heel, and then get a stretch in your hamstring. And so basically I'll just go back and forth till I do like 5 times on each leg. And this pretty much opens everything that needs to be opened up for your workout. get another dumbbell. Can you stop stalking me, sir? I don't feel comfortable being filmed. So I feel like a big common question for beginners especially is how to know what weight that you're using and just like what weight to start with. So I always say it's gonna take some trial and error to figure out just what works for you, because obviously everyone's strength is so different. People's starting strength as well is gonna be so different. So basically when I tell you guys 3 sets of 10 here throughout all these exercises, you're gonna be wanting to choose, you're gonna wanna choose a weight that is gonna be difficult in the sense that those last 3 to 4 reps should feel very, very challenging. If I'm telling you to do 10 reps and you picked a weight that you feel like you could do 15 to 20 reps pretty easily, that weight is too light, so you wanna go down. But again, you don't wanna pick a weight that you can only do 5 reps and on the 6th rep, you're like really struggling to get any good form. So you wanna kind of find that sweet spot where you're able to do 10 reps all the way through with relatively good form, right? We don't wanna break form too much there, but you also want to make sure those last like 3 to 4 reps are still very challenging and hard for you to get up, and you shouldn't really be able to do any more than the reps that I'm giving you. Also, when I say 3 sets of 10, you're going to be doing 10 full reps of each of these exercises that I'm showing you. That's going to be 1 set. So then you're going to repeat that 2 more times for all these exercises for a total of 3 sets through. Now this isn't a circuit style, so you're going to be starting with that first exercise, doing those 10 reps, resting, doing that 2 more times for a total of 3 sets through. Now you finish that exercise completely, you did your 3 sets, then you move on to the next exercise. Getting into the workout, the first exercise that I have for us is a goblet squat. So I intentionally programmed this one because I feel like everyone, when you're thinking of lifting, people are like, oh, squatting, but I know not everyone is totally comfortable just to throw themselves underneath a barbell and get in the squat rack. So this is a great, I guess, regression, if you will, to start with as a beginner, which you can then later progress into an actual weighted barbell back squat. So here, just to walk you through some normal regular squat form completely as an air squat. Basically, my initial cue always to pretend like you're sitting back and down into a chair. So kind of a little bit of nitty gritty here, but if you're breaking at your knees first, you're never really gonna have less glute engagement, you're gonna have more quad engagement. So you always wanna push your hips back first and sit back and down like you're sitting into a chair. I personally tend to lean a little bit too far over than ideal. You wanna try to keep your chest upright, but again, everyone's anatomy is gonna be a little bit different. When you're sitting back and down, you're gonna wanna sit back so that your weight is now into your heels. My toes are nice and light. My chest still is nice and open. I'm not crouching down here like this. And then you're gonna press back up through your heels and come up. I'm also not letting my knees cave in. The whole time when I'm coming down, I'm trying to push those knees out and keep them outward. Press up through those heels and come up. Another really important thing is I'm not coming and driving my hips forward like this. That's gonna cause a lot of stress in the low back, and a big common misconception is people think that you need to squeeze your glutes really hard, but if anything, that kind of actually causes you to lose that constant tension with the weight. So I'm gonna come down here, come up and tense the glutes, but I'm not doing this. So this is what the motion is going to look like. And then where the goblet is coming into play, the lighter weight that you're gonna be using, you're gonna be able to do this stance here where you have this weight up towards your chest, but just basically sitting in my palms and then coming down into the squat here, like I said, for 3 sets of 10. Also play around with foot placement. If you wanna tilt your toes out, that also may feel more comfortable as well. For a progression, if you feel like you can do heavier weight, it's kind of hard for you to hold up towards your chest like that, you could also use this position as well. And this is gonna be more of a sumo squat. Your legs are gonna be a little bit farther apart, but you can also hold the weight down here and do the same squat motion here. And my biggest tip for feeling really any leg exercise in your glutes is to always, always, always be driving up through your heels, thinking about the muscle that you're working and squeezing your glutes, and really think about your glutes squeezing with your mind to really help get a better contraction. All right, so now we're gonna move into some back work. We're gonna be moving into a pulling motion, a seated cable row for 3 sets of 10. Like I said, I kind of prefer to keep beginners more so with machine work, if you will, just because it helps keep you in a safer position, and it already gives you kind of like a premeditated range of motion and movement pattern, if you will. So this is the piece of equipment that we're gonna use. This is the seated cable row right here. Looks like this. It's usually gonna be in some sort of cable rack machine situation. And this is the cable attachment that we're gonna be using. It's kind of like a little V-bar situation. I know. Ready? Okay, so I'm gonna plant my feet here on the foot pads. Now what's important here is, again, I'm not trying to like squeeze here and bring my shoulders up to my ears, right? So again, rolling my shoulder blades back and down, dropping my shoulders away from my ear here. Now what's important, since we're trying to hit our back, right? We don't wanna be coming and doing this and flailing our elbows out because it's kind of defeating the purpose and not targeting the right muscle. So here, with our intention here to kind of hit more so that mid and upper back, we wanna keep those elbows really tight to our side, okay? I'm not flailing out here, I'm keeping right here in a line. So I'm gonna drive this handle to my hip, and I'm kind of gonna lead by bringing my elbow to my hip. That's essentially what I think of. So again, picking up the weight, dropping my shoulders away from my ears. My chest still is nice and open here, and I'm driving this handle to my hip. I'm keeping those elbows in towards my side. My neck is still in line with my spine. And this is all it is. Also, I find that back, when you're hitting back, it's really important to, again, use that mind to muscle connection, which I touched on earlier. You want to be thinking about those back muscles contracting. So you don't want to be distracted. I'm going really slow here. I'm not flailing the weight. I'm not using momentum to carry me through. I'm really slow and controlled, and I'm even controlling the lowering portion of the lift as well as the raising portion. All right, so now we hit some leg work, we did some back work, and now we're gonna get into more pushing motions, which is gonna be hitting more of like our chest, triceps, shoulder situation here. So next I have programmed an incline bench press here, just with some dumbbells. This I like because it's kind of in between like a horizontal pushing motion and a vertical pushing motion, so it's kind of getting a little bit of best of both worlds here. So for form, what's most important with a chest press here is I'm not trying to come out at a T here with my sides when I'm bringing my arms down. That's just gonna cause a lot more stress on the shoulder joint than we need. So I kind of more so like to describe it as coming down at a 45-degree angle. So my elbow is coming at a 45-degree angle for my side as opposed to a 90 like a T if I were to bring my elbows out too far. So I'm kind of closing that in. We're still hitting that, you know, the front of our delt here in our upper chest here, but this is more so where we're gonna be staying as opposed to out here. So we're gonna grab our nifty little handy dumbbells here, shoot them up towards the sky. I'm really planting my feet here. We want to use our heels as a place of stabilization. I'm tucking my shoulder blades back and down again, kind of retracting them back and down. I'm not sitting up here. They're pulled away from my ears. My chest is nice and open and wide. And then I'm going to bring these dumbbells out, like I said, at a 45-degree angle from my chest here, or from my side, excuse me, driving up through our chest and through the front of our shoulders to bring those weights up to the sky. Again, since chest, especially for women, it's not as like a readily contractible muscle, I feel like it just takes more concentration, especially before your muscle matures. You really want to think about the muscles that you're working and really focus on them. I'm also keeping my core nice and tight here. All right, so now we're moving back into leg work again. The squat was more so, definitely emphasized more so like the front of our legs, like more so quad and glutes. And now this exercise is gonna be completely for our posterior chain, which is all the back of our leg, the hamstring and the glutes, all that good stuff. This is such like an iconic leg exercise that I love and live by, and I like could never train legs without it. So this is gonna be a dumbbell stiff leg deadlift. So you can use dumbbells here. I think this is just gonna be easier, especially for beginners, because you have a little bit more, you can play a little bit more with what feels comfortable to you and really individualize it to your own movement pattern and body. So this movement specifically is called a hip hinging movement, meaning you want to initiate this movement at your hips. So I always say to pretend like there's a board strapped to your back, and the only movement here is with your hips, like I said. So some people kind of struggle with this one, so just bear with me as I talk you through this here. You kind of want to pretend like you were trying to touch the back wall with your glutes. So you're not essentially just bending over, right? Because if you were to look at my hamstrings here, we're not just bending over like this, because then there's no stretch here. When you're lifting weights, the whole point is to create a stretch in your glutes, in your muscle, excuse me, just so that you then have more time under tension, and that's just what then contributes to muscle growth there. So the stretch is what's most important. So by you pushing your hips back, like I said, we're targeting those hamstrings and your glutes. You're gonna be creating a bigger stretch here. So with that being said, I'm not pushing my hips back and arching my back. I'm keeping that back nice and flat as if there's a board strapped to my spine, like I said, pushing those hips back. My spine is nice and neutral, and that is what's causing me to fold over as opposed to me just bending over. So that's the biggest thing that's most important here with a stiff leg deadlift. Similar to what I said with the squats, when you are pushing your hips back, that's going to inevitably cause you to push your weight onto your heels is what we want, and then you're gonna be driving up through your heels, squeezing your hamstrings, squeezing your glutes to come through. Same thing with the squat, right? We're not gonna come up and do this and shove our hips forward. That's a no-no. We're gonna come down, come back look up. Keep that constant tension, keep that pelvis nice and neutral, and then keep that tension in your glutes. So I'm gonna pick up my dumbbells here. When you pick them up, roll my shoulder blades back and down, drop my shoulders away from my ears just to get all the proper muscles engaged. My feet are about shoulder width apart here. I'm gonna push my hips back like I'm trying to go towards the back wall. I'm keeping these dumbbells really nice and close and tight to my shins, coming down to wherever your mobility allows. So this is gonna look different for some people. You might need to stop right below your knee. Some people might be coming down towards their ankles, driving up through your heels here, squeezing your glutes, and stopping up here at neutral position. Another thing to note is make sure that your neck is in line with my spine, right? I'm not constantly trying to look up at myself in the mirror. We don't want to cause any stress on our neck more than we need to. I'm keeping a nice soft bend in my knees as well. I'm not locking my knees out to protect that joint. So for the final exercise for this workout, I have an upright row. So basically we kind of have hit everything so far: hamstring, glutes, quads. We did some chest work, some back work, and now we're gonna hit a little bit more isolated work towards the delt, the side of our shoulder here. So this is called an upright row, again for 3 sets of 10 as always. This is gonna be another pulling motion, but like I said, a little bit more isolated now to cap out and round out those shoulders. So here I just have a preloaded barbell. You could also use dumbbells if you would like, but I just find that this helps kind of stabilize you a little bit better. So essentially what I'm gonna do is lead up with my elbows and bring them up towards the ceiling while keeping this barbell super close along the front of my body. It's kind of essentially grazing my front of my body the whole way. And we don't want to be shooting up here and like squeezing with shrugging our shoulders and really trying to drive our elbows up to the sky like crazy. We essentially just want to come up till our upper arms are about parallel with the ground, right? I'm kind of in a perfect T, if you will, and I'm not shrugging my shoulders up. I'm still kind of keeping my shoulders down away from my ears. My shoulder blades are retracted back and down. That's going to help make sure that we're actually targeting our delt, which is what we want here, and not causing shifting too much focus onto our traps. So again, all I'm doing, keeping my palms rotated down, coming up, grazing the barbell up along my body, leading up with my elbows, trying to get them up towards the sky, stopping when they're about parallel with the ground till I form a little T. I'm bringing this barbell up to about a little bit above my sports bra, and I'm making sure that I'm not shrugging my shoulders up. That's the biggest mistake that I see that people make. They bring those shoulders up to their ears, which kind of defeats the purpose and shifts the emphasis away from the shoulders, which is what we're wanting here. Alright guys, that's it for this video. That is the full body workout. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, don't forget to give the video a like, maybe comment. Let me know your thoughts. Subscribe if you want to see more videos from me. I really appreciate you guys taking the time to watch. I really hope it helped. I'm sending you so much love, and hopefully I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.